So next up is replacing the brakes. Now, I'm not just going to replace the pads, which is what you have to do ever so often. I'm also going to give the brake arms a bit of an overhaul, take them apart and re-grease them, because I'm guessing if it's an old bike, then the chances are a lot of dirt's going to have got in there, and they're not going to be quite as springy as they used to be. So the first thing to do is to release the brakes, which do put it across like that and pushing them to the side. You then need to get the wheel off, which you can do by undoing the quick release, and you need to pull this back. Next up is to release the brake blocks. So you just use your Allen key and untie them. It's a good idea to remember the order of the washers on here, so you can just quite easily replace them back in the same position they were in before. I do a quick comparison of the new and the old brake blocks. You can clearly see the difference. The old one is severely worn out, whereas the new one looking very fresh here. Now that both the pads are off, I'm also going to remove the brake arms. Now I know that not everyone's obviously got V-brakes, but the similar sort of rules apply. You take them off, take them apart, and apply a new set of some new grease to it. So again, with the Allen key, undo this bolt. Then you want to start off by giving the attachment here a good wipe down. Make sure you get rid of all the horrible dirt build-up. You also need to thoroughly clean the brake arm. So the only thing to be aware of is make sure you get all the dirt off, but also afterwards, if you're using any sort of cleaning agent on there, make sure that comes back off, because the salt can make it rusty and create problems. So once that's done and dry, you've given it a good clean, then the next part is to add some grease. Now you can pick up a tub of grease pretty cheap, and you want to be fairly liberal with the application of it on the different parts. So you basically want to apply it to moving parts and parts like this screw. This basically keeps the water out and it keeps all the different parts rust free and keeps them moving. The other part you want to apply grease to is the attachment here. Here you want to apply it pretty liberally all over, because this part needs to be very well lubricated. And you can reattach the brake arm. Now, there's one final thing to be aware of here, is that there's 3 different holes that this can go into. So generally speaking, you want to be in the middle hole, which works for most bikes, but if the springiness isn't working very well, then you can adjust it by switching to one of the other holes. Once you've given the brake cable a quick wipe down, you can reattach it. When it's time to add the brake pads back in, make sure you double check, make sure you put them them the right way around. Some are marked with a front arrow and a left and right. So in the beginning, when you add them back in, you want to just tighten it very loosely, because you'll be making further adjustments later on. So do the same thing with the other side. Then it comes to reattaching the wheel. You want to pull back this rear derailleur like this, and then add your wheel. You can then finally tighten up the pads, and to do that you want them to touch flatly against the rim. Make sure they're not touching the tyre at all, and they should be meeting it square on effectively. So the best way to do it is to push it tight against the rim, and then once you've got it in the right position, tighten up this bolt. Make sure you do it very, very tight, and then to double check that it's tight enough, simply try and move this with your hand. As long as it's completely solid, then you're good to go.